Hi guys, so today we're looking at stage 2 evidence. We're going to really dig down deep into looking at transfer task and other evidence. Remember that transfer task is going to be that performance-based assessment that we're going to look at, and the other evidence will line up with more of our formative assessments, our ticket out the doors, our questioning, mini quizzes, things of that nature. When we look at classroom assessment strategies, we kind of group them naturally into 4 different groups: selected response, constructed response, performance assessment, and informal assessment. But we really need to change our thinking to think like an assessor instead of just how a teacher would say, okay, I need to teach this so the students learn it. In this phase, we're going to think like an assessor. What kind of evidence do I need to know for my students to have proven this skill or this unit? What criteria do they need to meet? What kind of rubrics do I need to create? What exemplars can I show them? And it's really important here, if we're thinking like an assessor, that we are aligning stage 1 and stage 2 together. How have I proven that the skills and the knowledge in stage 1 are then in my stage 2? Performance tasks and assessments often occur over time. They're a result in tangible product or observable performance. They encourage self-evaluation and revision. That's key. Require judgment to score, reveal degrees of proficiency based on criterion established, sometimes involve students working with others. This comes from Marzano. I said it was key for self-evaluation. We always have to make sure students in a performance task are assessing how much they have learned, along with the rubric or the rubric or the criteria list. Self-evaluation makes sure students are doing their best and seeing where they can go and get better for the next time. They should include always instructions, the dimensions of the task, the instructions and whatnot, and what skills are being assessed, the objectives, and the scoring system. When we give out performance tasks, we must give students the rubrics or the criteria, the checklist that we're using to score them on. Students can't do their best if they don't know where they're headed. UbD in a nutshell. I think this is really important to understand. Understanding is revealed when students transfer their learning through authentic performance. If they can't take that big question, that big idea in stage 1 and apply it in a different way, then they have not mastered their learning. We have to get them here. In UbD, performance tasks are written in a very structured way. They are needed as evidence of understanding. This is what we use to say, yes, the students have mastered this skill. They establish real-world context. This is making that self-connection to real-life things and real-life happenings. So creating that restaurant for those students to work through in math. Having students create a commercial in language arts for persuasive. Really making sure that we're connecting it so the students can see the value in it, making it real for them. We're going to go into a little bit more detail here on graphs. Should be written in the graph format to make assessment tasks more authentic and engaging. And once again, always, always, always linking them back to that stage 1. The other evidence, remember that this is talking about those exit tickets and those thumbs up questions you're going to ask and the class discussions you're going to have. They identify needed assessments of stage 1. We're looking at those skills. How are we going to make sure we've hit all of those? And they can overlap with performance-based. So what is a performance task? Performance task is a complex scenario that provides students an opportunity to demonstrate what they know and are able to do concerning a given concept. Remember, it always comes back to real life. They need to be able to make those connections. So this is GRASP. GRASP stands for goal, role, audience, situation, product, and standards. Take a minute and read these. Goal is the provided statement of the task, establishes the problem, the challenge, the obstacle. The role, what role the students are going to take, what job the students will have for the task. The audience, who they are writing or completing this task for. The situation sets the context of the scenario. Product, what the students will actually produce. And standards, provide students with a clear picture of success. This goes into our rubric. Some examples of each of these. G would be design, teach, explain. Notice those are the verbs that we're using here. Roles, advertiser, illustrator, coach. A, our audience, board members, neighbors, pen pals, the government. The context of the situation comes next. P is the advertisement, game, script, actual product that's happening, and then standards here for our last S, what success looks like. Their scoring guide, their rubric, their checklist, exemplars that you might give them. This will be an example. I'm going to let you read through these. So once again, we're back at stage 2. We're going to look at the performance task. Students will show that they understand evidence by. This is the transfer. This is the big task. What is it I want them to do? What is it I want them to be able to apply into a new situation? This other evidence, once again, is the formative assessments leading up to that big performance task. This is the area that we're gonna to work in next. Here are some examples of stage 2. Here's a performance task. This is what mastery looks like. Here's the other evidences. I will share this Prezi with you guys so you can look at those in a little bit more detail. So this is really important for us to make sure that our performance task is valid. It has to be accurate. And as we can see, to face validity, do the assessment items appear to be appropriate? Content validity, criteria, related validity, and constructed validity. These are the questions we have to ask ourselves as we complete this. In some ways to improve validity, these are the questions we would ask. Does the assessment content cover what you've assessed? How well does the test measure what you want it to, and are you measuring what you think you're measuring? These are questions we ask after we've created that task. And then we always want to make sure that we are looking for ways to improve the validity of the assessments that we're having. We can get into that a little bit further on as we get more comfortable actually creating these performance assessments. We also want to talk about reliability. If the test is reliable, the test takers will get the same score no matter when or where they take the assessment. And this means that the test would be consistent for the students, that they would be able to score it no matter what. So as a review of what we're doing, the first thing I need to ask, what am I assessing? I need to revisit stage 1, identify that criteria you want to assess for understanding. You're really looking at the knowledge and skills here section and creating a task from those, making sure that it answers that big transfer at the beginning. Are my assessments valid and measure what the student should be understanding is my next piece. So identify the assessment criteria. Does this match the assessment criteria from stage 1? Is it valid? And lastly, now what? Identify my areas of needs improvement. I don't want you to focus here yet. I want you to really work on getting that assessment on paper, making sure it's aligned to 1. Once again, I will share this Prezi with you. It was created by someone else, but it really aligned with what we needed to talk about. I would love it if you guys sat down and discussed the assessments that you have thought about and worked for the rest of the time to look at aligning them with stage 1 and making sure that your knowledge and your skills have a piece in either your other evidence assessments or your performance tasks. I can't wait to see these on Thursday. If you have any questions, please give me a call or send me an email, and hopefully I can get back to you guys shortly. Enjoy your work time.